Hey, welcome everybody. This is John Paul Dr. Dr. Speed Selling, and this is the Raging Verbalist. The Raging Verbalist, if you have not been here before, well, you're in for a treat. We talk about a variety of topics, things that are on my mind, things that bother me, things that jump into my head, and all of the above. And we do it every week. So find us on YouTube, find us on Facebook, on the Position to Win book Facebook group. And with me, as always, is the ever lovely Sandra. Sandra will be asking me the questions, just like you would be asking me the questions. But, well, we don't know exactly who you are. And so there you go. Welcome, Sandra.
Hello, how are you doing?
I am charged up. This is one of those topics that just, we've got to get it out.
All right, so what is all this talk about shrinkflation?
Well, I'm breaking one of my own rules, which is, I usually not veering off too much into politics, but this is a classic case of majoring in the minors. And the president is talking about this, shrinkflation thing, which is, hey, when you buy a bag of potato chips, you're not getting enough potato chips and you're not getting enough cookies in a package and all of that. In fact, there's even talk about a shrinkflation reduction act where the Federal Trade Commission is going to monitor, as if they don't have other things that are more important to do. We're going to check out and make sure that nobody is putting in too few chips. And this is one of those ridiculous things. I call it majoring in the minors because, well, let's face it, prices have gone up, everything's gone up, and it becomes much more difficult to make things work. So whatever you're thinking about, well, we're going to be talking about shrinkflation because, damn it, you owe it to yourself to make sure you have enough chips in your bag.
All right, so is this new?
Well, it is not new. In fact, it has been going on since the 1960s when it was originally coined, and people have been talking about it. In fact, Andy Rooney of 60 Minutes fame came out in October 23, 1988, and did a whole thing about how the coffee companies were putting in 3 ounces less of coffee than they were before. So that is something that has been going on for quite some time. So yes, it is something that has been dogging us, and it shows up, by the way, just so everybody knows, it shows up when prices go up, because when prices go up, manufacturers always are going to pass this stuff on. Write this down if you haven't figured this out, and if you're in business, you should absolutely know this. The customer always pays. If not, you're going to be out of business. So the customer always pays, and shrinkflation is a way to reduce the amount of stuff you get into whatever it is you're buying, but holding the price at the same level. So the price remains the same, you're getting less, so effectively you're paying more per item.
And will this trend continue in more markets?
Well, as long as inflation, which was supposed to be transitory, remember that one, transitory, sure doesn't look like it. Now they're using words like it's sticky, like it's like, you stepped on a piece of gum out in the parking lot and it's like, geez, these are new shoes. So yes, I think it's going to continue because people are going to find ways to do it. And the point of it is that it is a coping mechanism to deal with the fact that it costs more to produce whatever we're going to sell out in the marketplace. So we're going to see that. You're going to see ways that people trim things. And this is going to continue, and it will not end anytime soon unless inflation abates, which it doesn't look like it's going to.
And what is the best way to deal with this ongoing situation?
Well, if you're a consumer, you just have to be aware of this. Now, I'm going to tell everybody, and this is I know that this is one of those kind of crazy things, but I go into the supermarket and I'm going to buy some baked beans. I know, economy could turn on my purchase. And I noticed that the smaller can, the can that I would normally buy, is $2.49. And I go, well, that seems a little rough, because it used to be like 99 cents. And then I go and I look, and there's a big can, a much bigger can, way down on the bottom shelf. They're not trying to hide it, by the way. That's the other thing, is that people say, well, it's trying to be hidden. All of this stuff is labeled. So, you just got to deal with the fact that that's the way it goes. So here's what you do. You become a smarter consumer. You buy it in bigger bulk. You buy what you want to do. and maybe you change your purchasing habits. And for those of you who don't understand how to make like a PB&J, you don't go out and buy the pre-made PB&J. You buy a jar of jelly, you buy a jar of peanut butter, you buy this fibrous thing called bread. You get yourself and you teach a kid. I figure it this way: if you can't figure out how to make a PB&J by the time you're like 8, 9, 10 years old, you know what are we even worried about? Space aliens or anything? Come on. So one of the things that you should do, though, and this is very important, is that you should go out and take care of some things in your business, and that means, or your life, and that is, most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize it. My book, and by the way, this book has not gone up in price since we published it. Still available on Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, wherever fine books are sold. And you can go ask for it physically, or you can go to positiontowinbook.com website, positiontowinbook.com website, and then you can go ask me to sign it, and I will. On the other side, you can go get it digitally, so you can save some things, and that is, you can go out and get it on Amazon Kindle, Barnes and Noble, Nook, and Apple iBooks. And if you want to get better at doing remote work, which is what we're kind of doing now, is you can go get Remote Work for a Better World, and away you go. All right, what's next?
All right, so what do you mean by majoring in the minors?
Well, I've noticed over the years that clients will spend a large amount of time over many trivial details, and they really won't spend their time, won't spend their energy, and look at the big picture. Yes, is it a nuisance that we're not getting as much coffee in the can, or getting as many chips or many cookies? Okay, I got it. But let's get real here. Understand that this is the way life goes. Sometimes you got to move on and look at the bigger picture. So majoring in the minors is always finding every minor annoyance and blowing it way out of proportion. And I'm going to tell you, that is a giant, massive waste of time.
And what is the best way to know you're focused on the right things?
Well, the absolute best way is look at all the things that you're involved in and what you're doing, and take the time to understand that there's this thing called the 80-20 principle. 80-20 principle is disequal outcomes of results, which means like the 20% of your customers will create 80% of your problems. The best customers, small percentage of customers are the largest customers. So the 80-20 principle, though it is not a great predictor, I'm going to say that out loud. Maybe we should do a Raging Verbalist about 80-20 in particular, because some people take it the wrong way. But what you absolutely want to know is, am I doing the highest and best value usage of my time every single time, all the time?
And is there a general method of knowing if somebody is focused on the wrong things?
Well, one of the things I've done is you can sit and take some time and do what's called time logging and data logging and figuring out where you're going. And then you can apply what we just talked about with the 80-20 principle. So if you log your time and see what you're doing, are you majoring in the minors? Are you doing the trivial things? Are we doing things that really don't push the needle forward, don't get us to where we want to go? And if you are, then what you need to do is back away and focus on the most important things and find out where you spend your time. You will be shocked if you actually do this for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Really hard. Most people don't want to do it. Peter Drucker talked about it many years ago in The Effective Executive. And all you need to know is that you want to know where your time goes, how much your time is worth, and are you, what you do, in any given moment, are you really getting the value out of it that you should be?
And how do business people, business owners, salespeople, and entrepreneurs combat this in their own lives?
Well, when you ever are faced with a situation like we are now, where prices are going up and inflation is taking hold and things are going on, and a lot of you have never experienced inflation. I lived through it. I saw inflation go just haywire crazy in the 70s and early 80s. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you are have an honest, I guess, a direct conversation with your customers and explain to them why things are changing. prices are going up and they're going to continue to go up. And how you have to deal with it is that you have to know that everything that you're going to buy, everything that you're going to purchase, everything that you're going to do is probably going to have that upward pressure on it. And if you are in that position, be aware, be open, communicate it, and explain where the value is and how this is the way that the world is today. And if you do that, I think you'll have a much better chance. Wasting a lot of time complaining about it, going out and trying to start up a, shrinkflation reduction act and having the government look over things, big, giant, massive waste of time. So if you really want to know how to fix it, well, we need to drop inflation. But since you and I and all of us out here, unless you have that big giant knob that you can turn down, we're just going to have to learn how to do business in a different environment. So for myself, John Paul Mendoza, Dr. Speed Selling, and the ever lovely Sandra, this has been the Raging Verbalist 226. Go on and have a great one. We'll see you next week. And remember, you got to count your chips. And it isn't like being in a casino, but you got to count your chips and say, how many chips am I getting in my bag? And how many chips should be in my bag? Seriously, don't waste your time. Enjoy and have a great one.